welcome back to Storytime. Glad you have joined us today. I have a special story to share with you today called Jesus in the Lion's Den. Now, we know that it was Daniel in the lion's den, but this is a very special kind of a story. Did you know that the oldest stories in the Bible are sort of like a puzzle? If you look very carefully, you can spot some Jesus moments. Those are moments when someone in the story is a little bit like Jesus. So this book is a really exciting story about Daniel, but it's even more exciting that you can spot Jesus moments in it too. There are lots of lions in this story, but every time you see this special lion, it's a clue that there's a Jesus moment too. This is what it looks like. All right, you ready to start? Let's begin. Do you have any habits? You know, maybe you sing in the bathtub, or twiddle your thumbs, or stick your finger up your nose even though your mama told you not to. Well, this is a story about Daniel and his habit. It was a great habit, but it was a habit that got him into a lot of trouble. Daniel knew God, the real king of everyone and everywhere. Daniel loved God very much, so 3 times a day, Daniel knelt down by his window and he prayed. Now, prayer is talking to God, and we can talk to God anytime, anywhere, about anything. What a wonderful habit. How could that get anyone into trouble? Well, Daniel worked for Darius, the super powerful king of Babylon. Daniel was so good at his job that the king wanted him to run the entire kingdom. But the other people who worked for King Darius didn't like Daniel, and they didn't like that God that he prayed to. So they decided to get Daniel into trouble. There was just one problem with their plan. Daniel had done nothing wrong. Nothing. But when they thought of something, they could use Daniel's habit to get him into trouble. Daniel's enemies got King Darius to make a new law. They said that for 30 days, no one was allowed to pray to anyone except the king. And if anyone broke the law, they would be thrown into a den full of huge, hungry lions. Oh no, what would Daniel do? If he obeyed the king of Babylon, he would stay safe. But if he obeyed God, the real king of everyone and everywhere, he would keep praying, and that would mean Daniel would be lion food. Safety or lion food? Which would Daniel choose? Daniel's enemies crept up to his window, looked up, and Daniel was... What do you think Daniel was doing? Yes, he was praying. They had caught him. The plan worked. So they rushed back and told the king Daniel was about to become lion food. King Darius tried and tried all day to figure out a way to save Daniel, but he couldn't. Even the king wasn't able to change the law. So when the sun went down, Daniel was taken into the den of the huge hungry lions and thrown in. I hope your God can save you, said the king. Well, it was a big stone was rolled across the mouth of the den, and everyone went to bed. But the king couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned and turned and tossed all night long. In the morning, the king rushed back to the den. Daniel, has your God been able to save you from the lions? Asked the king. And then he listened. And he listened. And then a voice came from the den. Yes, O king, I'm not hurt. God sent his angel to shut the lion's mouth. God saved me because I had done nothing wrong, nothing. Daniel was lifted out of the den, and there wasn't even a scratch on him. Daniel had trusted God, and God had saved him. Then, because King Darius was such an important king, he wrote to all the people in all the countries and all the world, and he said, Daniel's God is the living God. He is the real king of everyone and everywhere, now and forever. He saves his people. the end. Well, oops, it's really not the end at all. It's time to spot some Jesus moments. Think back in the story. There were lots of lines in this story, but did you spot the special ones that appeared every time that there was a Jesus moment? Each Jesus moment is a moment when Daniel is a little like Jesus, the Son of God. Did you find all four? Well, here they are and what they meant. Daniel's enemies wanted to get rid of him, so they tried to get him into trouble. That's what Jesus' enemies did to him too. But in his job, Daniel had done nothing wrong. Nothing. His enemies had to invent a new law to get Daniel in trouble. Well, in his whole life, Jesus had done nothing wrong. Nothing. So his enemies had to tell lies about Jesus to get him in trouble. When Daniel heard about his enemies' plans, he knew he was going to be arrested and thrown in the lion's den. What did he do? That's right, he prayed. When Jesus knew he was going to be arrested and killed on the cross, what did he do? He prayed too. Did Daniel die in the lion's den? No. The lions were very hungry, and Daniel was as good as dead. But God, the real King of everyone and everywhere, brought Daniel out of the den. Did Jesus die on the cross? Yes. Yes. Jesus really did die, but then God brought his son out of death. Do you know something amazing? God promises to bring all of his son's friends out of death and into life with him. Can God really do that? Yes, he can. He's done it before. So one day, all of Jesus' friends will live with him forever and ever. And for now, we can enjoy the same habit that Daniel did. We can talk to the real King of everyone and everywhere, every day. Thank you for joining us for Storytime. Hope we'll see you again next week.